Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Cbrev. Welcome to another MLB The Show 20 video. A little bit different approach to this video, attempting to answer a question that I get asked on stream pretty often since the Stage 2 of Team Affinities has come out and the Future Stars have been released. So this video is going to be what are the best teams to do Team Affinities for if you're really behind and you have 0 points in a lot of these affinities. So a lot of people did not grind as hard as I did, which is because most people are normal and I'm not. And so a lot of people weren't caught up on these affinities, and so people are constantly asking me on stream like, hey, if I was really behind on affinities, like what's the most efficient ones to do right now? What's the most bang for your time as far as both players, this includes face of the franchise and future stars, for the same team? Which 5 are the best? So we're gonna go ahead and answer that question in this video. If you guys could please drop a like, it would help me out a lot, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Tons of MLB The Show 20 content on this channel, and hopefully this video can help some of you guys out. We are gonna go in order as well, so I'm gonna say the Padres is my #1 team, and then from there we'll go 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, in my opinion, the best affinity to do if you're starting from 0 points right now is the San Diego Padres. Fernando Tatis Jr., this card's swing is amazing. Pretty much a 5-tool player. You can go watch the card review that I did on my channel about him. Still arguably one of the best shortstops in the entire game, and has multiple infield secondary positions. So Fernando Tatis Jr. still an extremely relevant card, still a card that's going to get it done for you in every way. And then Taylor Trammell, one of my favorite Future Stars cards as well, has everything you could ask for except for power versus left and arm strength. I don't value arm strength a lot, and having that speed and fielding in the outfield, as long as the ability to hit for power versus righties, this card looks amazing to me. So yeah, Taylor Trammell, really good. Fernando Tatis Jr., really good. I think the Padres is the best team affinity through Stage 2. Second best team affinity to do if you're starting with 0 points is going to be the Tampa Bay Rays, in my opinion. You get this Blake Snell, face of the franchise, who is still a very serviceable starting pitcher, and often if you're new to the game or whatever, starting pitching is going to be the thing that's going to be hardest to find for you. This Snell hasn't been as good as I thought he would be, but he's still very decent. A lot of people have picked up on his delivery by now, but still a serviceable starting pitcher. And then at the 120 point mark, you get Vidal Brujan, who in my opinion is probably the best future star out of any of them. Can play both middle infield positions as well as center field. Switch hitter, amazing speed, great fielding, can still hit for a decent amount of power versus right. I really like Brujan. I really like the Rays as a team affinity, and that's why they are #2 on the list. #3 on the list is the Los Angeles Angels. At 50 points, you get face of the franchise Shohei Ohtani, another starting pitcher for your rotation. I still think this guy is really good as of right now, and obviously you can see from his hitting stats, he can perform for you at the plate as well. Still think Ohtani is one of the best face of the franchise cards. I rated him as A in my last video that I made on face of the franchise. And then at 120 points, the future star, you get this Brandon Marsh, really good outfielder, great all across the board, left-handed, just really good looking card. Above 80 power versus right, still decent power versus left, great fielding, great speed, 90 arm strength. This card has honestly pretty much all 5 tools. He's really close to it. So Angels, really good team affinity if you're starting from 0 points. The 4th best affinity is going to be the Atlanta Braves. I really love this Ozzie Albies card. On paper, it looks like his biggest weakness is against right-handed pitching, but after using this card, his swing is so good that he still hits tons of home runs versus righties. His PCI will be significantly smaller, but considering he's a switch hitter and still crushed righties, at least for me, I think again he's one of the best face of the franchise options in the entire game. And then obviously if you can get him up against a lefty, he's going to do amazing. Great fielding aside from the arm strength, which I already said I don't value too much, especially at second base and above average speed. So this Ozzie Albies really good. And then at 120 points, you will get Kyle Wright, another arm for the rotation. This card looks really good to me. Can hit 98 miles an hour with his fastball, has a sinker, throws a hard slider, throws a slower changeup, throws a good curveball. I really like Kyle Wright. This Atlanta Braves Team Affinity is going to give you a lot of depth and options for your lineup and rotation. And finally, the 5th best Team Affinity, if you're starting at 0 points, in my opinion, is the Minnesota Twins. Again, one of the best face of the franchise cards in the game. I'm absolutely in love with Byron Buxton. He has in-game fielding, in-game speed, and his swing is amazing. He plays way above his stats at the plate. Tons of home runs with this card despite the low power attributes. Just can't describe to you guys enough how good this card is, really. He's still in my lineup to this day. And then going into the future stars, you end up with this Alex Kirilloff. He looks pretty good on paper. Nice power left-handed first baseman with fielding above 80, which is what you like to see. I think he fits a really good hole for you, especially if you are a newer player, you're just starting out with the game, you just picked it up a couple weeks ago. Having a card like this holding down first base is really good. So as far as both rewards combined, I think Minnesota Twins are really good, and that's why they're the 5th best team on this list. So now I'll get into a couple of honorable mentions. 2 teams get an honorable mention. First, I'll start off with the Cleveland Indians. So the Indians face of the franchise, Carlos Santana. If you're looking to fill out your entire lineup, maybe look at the Indians as team number 6 because Santana can play catcher, great switch hitting, first baseman. I will warn you that his defense at catcher is atrocious and the 59 arm strength does not play well. But if you're looking for a no money spent catcher, this is a decent option for you. And then also Nolan Jones is an amazing power hitter, left-handed third baseman. Can also play first if you're not the biggest fan of Kirilloff, as I mentioned, for the 5th team, the Minnesota Twins. So I really like the Indians as an affinity. And the second honorable mention is going to go to the New York Yankees. Gleyber Torres, one of the best hitting face of the franchise cards that I used. Did play pretty sketchy defense for me, but amazing swing, really high power ratings, just crushes the ball. Can also play second and third, along with shortstop, so a really good face of the franchise card. And then Clark Schmidt for the future stars looks like a really solid option, and again, another rotation piece that'll help you kind of fill out your roster as you're moving through, grinding your team out, no money spent if that's what you're going for. So yeah, Yankees probably tied for 6th best with the Indians, not quite top 5, but a really good affinity to go for if you're starting from 0. And also the Yankees should have some really good cards coming down the pipeline later because they have so much history just in baseball in general. So kind of a good one to get knocked out so you can get a head start on these other 2 cards that are coming later. And finally, to wrap up the video, I wanted to show you guys that if you do actually do the top 5 of all of these affinities that I mentioned, if you start from 0 points and do my top 5 teams, you can actually make a full lineup except for catcher and a full rotation except for 2 slots. So I showed some XP rewards in here too. If you're silver 1 and you complete, or sorry, if you're silver 40 and you took Posey at silver 1 and you took Kluber and Hal as your first 2 high diamond, you can actually fill out your entire lineup and rotation with just these 5 affinities at 120 points. So you can see the outfield, Trammell, Buxton, Marsh in right field. The infield has Kirilloff, Albies, Brujan, and Tatis at third base. And then XP reward Posey. And then if we go to the rotation, I don't have Braves at 120, so I put Maddox here, but this is where Kyle Wright would be. And then you can see we have Kluber, Hal, Blake Snell, and Ohtani. So just by doing these 5 affinities from 0 to 120, you can get a full lineup pretty much and 3/5 of a rotation. I also went ahead and ordered this lineup the way I would in the most ideal fashion, in my opinion, just in case you do go ahead and follow my advice and do this all the way through. This is how you should set your lineup. You could argue switching Albies and Tatis here, and I put the catcher 8th because I'm assuming you're not going to put Posey there. But if you were going to play if you do have Posey for your catcher, then actually he should be batting cleanup the way this lineup is set up, and Albies should be 8th. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Again, drop a like on the video, it helps me out a ton. Drop a comment down below if you have any questions about what I talked about in this video. I think it's really good content for y'all, especially if you're just jumping into the game now, or if you're trying to stay no money spent and you didn't have a lot of time to knock out the team affinities. In within the first month of the game cycle. So I appreciate all you guys watching. Much love to you. The support has been real lately. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.